X-Men Apocalypse is a new film for Bryan Singer. Is it worth your time? Let's find out. Hello everybody, welcome to the Captain Bite Show, the show where I do the very difficult task of telling you whether movies worth your time or not and deserve a spot in your movie collection. As always, I'm Ash, and today we're going to be talking about X-Men Apocalypse, so let's assemble! Wait, is that a different team? That's a different one? Let's mutate. Do they say something? I don't think they say anything. So X-Men Apocalypse is the latest film in the X-Men franchise, and this one takes place 10 years after Days of Future Past ending. Things are peaceful now. Xavier's School for the Gifted is running without a hitch. Villains aren't showing up to ruin everyone's day. Everyone is 10 out of 10 super happy. When all of a sudden, some big blue Egyptian guy shows up in the form of Apocalypse, and he's all like, yo, humanity, fuck that shit, I'm gonna destroy all this. So now it's up to the X-Men to go up to the Secret of the Ooze and tell him no, and stop him, so he doesn't cause an apocalypse. Stop now. And of course I was excited for this movie. I love this franchise. I love all the X-Mans. They're smart, they're brilliant, they're action-packed. They got my boy Wolverine, who I love. I am a fan of this franchise. And not to mention, if you recall, back to 2014 when that Days of Future Past came out and everyone loved it, I was the one person on Earth who didn't. I am here to tell you now, I rewatched it yesterday before the screening. It took me 3 tries, but I finally get the hype. I understand it. Best of the franchise, best of all time, one of the best. It's great, it's great, it's great. So, naturally, I was even more excited to see its follow-up. I was like, yo, this one's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be crazier, all them comic book nerds are losing their crap for Apocalypse, let's see what it is. And then, like most things in just my life in general, it brutally let me down. I wanted oh so badly to be able to come out of this movie just praising it, being like, oh, it's one of the greatest superhero films of the year! Totally lives up to Days of Future Past. Hell, I would have settled for it just being above average, where it's like, oh, that was bad, but that was good. I would have settled for that, but the fact of the matter is, the more and more I think about this movie, the more I don't like it. And it's all ironically summed up in some joke that Jean Grey uses in the movie. Like, all of them, they get out of a movie and Jean Grey's all like, the third is always the worst installment, or something like that, which is a brilliant jab at the horrific The Last Stand, which is the worst of its trilogy, but it's almost like a jab at this one, because this is the third in the First Class trilogy, and it's just, compared to the other two, this is a nosedive. So what, that joke is like, you know those inflatable punching bag doll things where you punch them and they go down but they come back up? It's like they hit this one really hard and they were like, ha 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 ha. Then it came up and smacked them in the face and they were like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm stupid. Like, where do I even start with this movie? Oh, I know, how about the fact it turns a superhero franchise that is known for being smart and brilliant and political, and turning that into just a generic mediocre blockbuster. That is something, because look, being a blockbuster is not bad, but it is bad when you're a series that is known for being so incredibly smart. That's what I love about the X-Men franchise. It's the fact you can sit down and you're wowed by the spectacle, you're wowed by the mutants, but overall, it's all just a metaphor for civil rights, and it's a brilliant one. It's something where you can come out of one of those movies like, this scene was cool because, like, Wolverine, but this scene was cool because civil rights. Like, it's an interesting thing. It's like, it's the thinking man superhero movie. Whereas Apocalypse, this is just generic. Literally, it halts all the great politics, all the great character development on top of that just runs into a wall. It halts all of it just so you can see, oh look, he's gonna make a pyramid and they're all gonna punch for a bit. That's it. That is it. And I could have excused all of that if it gave me a good story. If it gave me something to grab onto to be like, this is interesting. But to me, this movie's story wasn't interesting. It felt jumbled. It felt heavy on exposition. The entire first act of this movie could have been cut the fuck down, but they don't. It's just like this. And unlike Days of Future Past, it's not able to find a balance between all those different storylines. Instead, it just all happens and you sit there like, huh. And let's take a moment to actually talk about Apocalypse here, because this is our main villain. This is someone who's been hyped up for a long time, so does he live up to that? I'll start by saying this. Oscar Isaac does a good job with what he was given, because Oscar Isaac's a great actor. I love him. He's one of my favorite working today. The fact of the matter is, what he was given is a weak villain, because as someone who doesn't know much about Apocalypse, I just know what people have told me. I went into this movie like, oh, he should be the biggest baddie, he should be the craziest baddie, he should be all this, and he doesn't do shit. I swear to God, do you know who he reminds me of here? Do you know what? Ultron. Ultron. He is a blue Ultron. From the way he learns about humanity to his motivations to the fact he talks big shit and then doesn't do shit. He's Ultron. He's like that much better because he doesn't make jokes. Other than that, he's a weak villain, one of the weakest of the franchise. I'm not a fan. I'm sad. I'm sad. And look, I've been talking some mad shit. I know, it sounds like I'm angry, and I am angry. I'm angry about a lot of things, this mainly, but let's relax, let's calm down, let's let my throat recover, and talk about some stuff that was actually good in the movie. And you know what? Once again, they killed the younger casting, because here's the deal. When they did that First Class movie, and they were like, oh, we're just gonna get younger versions of all these people, and we were all like, what? And then we saw it, and we were like, that's perfect? Guess what? They're not stopping there. They got perfect casting for the ones you want to hear about: Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler. You got 3 great young actors behind these guys, and they all kill it. I'm telling you, they kill it. They are able to take what the original actors made great about the roles, but then at the same time, put that little prepubescent twist on it since they're young. I thought they all killed it, especially Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler, because, yo, Wolverine and Magneto, they're my 2 boys in this universe, but if I had to choose a third, it's Nightcrawler, so I am just glad they did my boy justice. So, in the end, X-Men Apocalypse is a big letdown. Like, sure, a lot of the new characters are great when you think of the younger cast, young and old. The performances are really good. But the fact of the matter is, this is a weak installment to the franchise with a weak villain and a poor story structure that really just had me scratching my head all the way through. It's really... This should have been one of the best of the year. It should have been, and instead it's become one of the biggest disappointments, which is sad. I can only hope the next one goes back up to those golden standards I expect of the franchise. Day one buy though. Ash, but you said all that shit. You've been talking mad shit. Why day one buy? Because, yo, if I can own Last Stand, I can own this movie. You know, marathons need to happen, and for marathons to happen, that thing needs to be in my Blu-ray collection, so yeah, I'll get it. X-Men Apocalypse gets a C- out of 10.